So in my last video, I built this 3D printer / plywood storage enclosure, and man, it was definitely overdue. This thing has been awesome to have in the shop. If you didn't see the video, go over and check it out. It's pretty cool. But more importantly, you guys left me a ton of great comments. You're a horrible project. Most of which were ideas or suggestions of things I could change to improve this. So I thought it'd be fun to make a follow-up video where I implement some of your ideas to make this just a little bit better. Now, hands down, the most suggested change I was recommended to make was to put this 3D printed enclosure under positive pressure. Now, when I initially set this up, I installed 2 air fans. One fan is pulling the air from my climate-controlled bathroom here in my shop, while the other fan is acting as an exhaust fan to pull that air from the enclosure and recirculate it back into the bathroom. And my idea behind that was it would kind of create a vortex and hopefully regulate or keep a more consistent temperature inside the enclosure, but that doesn't do a very good job at putting the enclosure under positive pressure. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that positive pressure concept, it's the idea of putting a greater air pressure inside the enclosure than what's on the outside, or what's even able to escape through the little voids in the sliding glass doors, and hopefully preventing any dust from being pulled from my wood shop into this enclosure and potentially causing some havoc on my prints or my printer. So what my plan is to change the direction of the exhaust fan so that it's pulling air from my bathroom and into my enclosure like the other fan. All right, so this is the exhaust fan and it's currently pulling air from the enclosure and putting it back into the bathroom. So to change the orientation of the air direction, I need to remove this trim plate with these 4 screws, and then these inner 4 screws will allow me to reverse the direction of the fan. All right, so reversing the direction of that one fan seems to be working very well for achieving that positive pressure we are looking for. Now I want to take this a step further, and I want to try to seal up these glass doors just a little bit more to help further prevent any of the dust from potentially getting inside. This was always a part of the plan, and I was looking at using some sort of gasket material or an adhesive foam to achieve this, but I didn't like the fact that it was potentially going to take away from this nice open visual appearance that I've got with these sliding glass doors. But my buddy Simon suggested using shower door seals, which was a fantastic idea because it's actually designed to slip over these glass doors, and it's somewhat transparent, so it shouldn't take away from this nice open appearance that I've got. Now, I found these shower door seals at my local Home Depot. They're roughly 6 feet long and they came in a 2-pack. But these are easily cut down to size. I just used a pull saw, and then I can install these on either side of those door handles. Now, these door handles were causing the slight gap in those butt joints due to the thickness of the handles, so I had gaps along the lower half and the upper half of these doors. But after installing these seals, it changed the gap from being between the glass to now being between the handles. So off camera, I printed a small shim that could be glued to one of the door handles to fill in that small void that I was getting. Another great suggestion was to add filtration to the supply air. So I designed up a basic cover plate with sliding dovetail trays to hold the filter medium. This could then be simply screwed in place over the air duct. This makes changing the filters a breeze. For filters, I use these vent filters that are designed for your home air duct vents. They are 4 inches by 12 inches, but are easily cut down to the 4 inch by 4 inch size I need with little waste. So one idea that never even crossed my mind was concerns with humidity. Now, I don't live in a humid location, but due to the fact that I'm pulling air from a bathroom, which can be a humid environment, could cause potential problems with my 3D printing. So for cheap insurance, I ordered this dehumidifier off of Amazon. I think it was like 30 bucks, and it's designed for a closet or a small room. So I think this will be the perfect application for it. But at the time of installing it, the humidity wasn't really high enough for it to work. But after several days and change in weather in my area, the humidity did go up to about 50%, and after running this dehumidifier for several hours, it was able to pull it down to 39% or so. It is working, and I'm curious to try it out in more of the summer months when the weather changes and things are warmer and there could potentially be higher humidity in there. So overall, I think it's a cheap insurance policy to prevent any of the moisture from getting inside this enclosure. So the last thing I want to address is the ladder behind me. I talked about in the build video that it was more of a creative challenge, just trying to build some type of rolling library ladder from things I had in my shop or building it from scratch, which I was able to do and it works, but it's honestly not the most practical application for this setup. So you guys came up with a couple different ideas to change that up. And the more popular option was to build a flip out bench that, you know, could swing down and be out of the way. And then when I need to climb up to be inside the enclosure, I could flip it up, lock it in place, and then get on top of that to kind of walk back and forth and do what I need to do. Now that's a great idea. The only problem is to get it to the right elevation to make it usable for the up top area would require some other type of step stool to be able to walk up to get onto that. So with having to buy another step stool anyways, I decided to scrap that idea. And then the second most popular one was to build a secondary cubby to accommodate my longer or more narrow plywood offcuts. But again, I kind of want to go away from storing them on the ground like that. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I'm just moving that problem to a smaller cubby. And again, like the flip out bench, that cubby would require an additional step stool to be able to climb up to get on top of that. Now in the video, I did talk about making a storage rack on the side here that I could accommodate those longer strips, which I think is what I'm gonna do. But as far as the ladder goes, I ended up just going with a store-bought step stool or a 3-step ladder, which is all I really need to be able to climb up to access really the more high up things, plugging different things into the power strip or whatever that might be. As far as getting prints off the printer, I can get that from the ground. Doing maintenance on the printers, it's easy just to unplug the printer itself from the back, and then I can take the printer out and move it to a bigger workbench to be able to get all the way around it to do my maintenance. And lastly, I just wanted to say thanks for all the comments and ideas in that last video. I truly appreciate all of those. I read every comment and I try to respond back to each and every one of them. Even the trolls, I give them a little love down in the comments section as well. So it's always great to hear back from like-minded people in the community and that watch my videos, so thank you very much. So stay tuned, my next video, I'm gonna be making a modification to my table saw. I think it'll be pretty cool. So stay tuned and I'll catch you guys on the next one.